And welcome. I'm talking today about the Cancer full moon that we are having December 22nd. If you're in Pacific Standard Time, this is at 9:48 a.m. That's I grab my notes. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how this might be playing into your life and how to use these energies wisely. So first I want to start with talking a little bit about this new moon. So the cycle, the moon cycle always starts with the new moon, and the new moon was in Sagittarius at 15 degrees of Sagittarius, and it was a powerful new moon. I would say maybe the biggest new moon of the year. It had the influence of Jupiter and Mercury, and it very much had this added emphasis towards inspiration and creation and opening our and expanding our minds. And there was also some Piscean influences, and that's still available to us. Actually, currently, I don't know when you're watching this, but right now the moon is in Pisces. And last night, it was so fun to be able to see the moon and Mars playing together last night if you looked out at the sky. And Mars is also in Pisces right now. And when Mars is in Pisces, I talked about this in a prior video, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But when Mars is in Pisces, we're very much active and initiative and moving forward in our subconscious mind, because Pisces rules the subconscious mind. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of things shifting and changing in our mindset and what's becoming available to our consciousness. You know, in the summer when the sun is so bright, we're very external. And as we come to this darkest time of the year, it's a very internal time, and it's available for us to do that introspection. And that's what the season is all about. So the more that you can, I know December's crazy and a lot of people are busy and trying to wrap things up and trying to see family and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very important also to have some alone time and have some introspection and to write and create and paint or do whatever feeds you. I will say that this is the last call I'm doing year ahead readings, and I kind of start with December in terms of like, okay, where do you need to manifest for the next year? So if you're interested in those, I'm only offering those for a few more days. So definitely check out my website to get one of those. And also, if you just want to work with me, this is a great time to get intuitive healing work. So I do two things. I do astrological chart readings, and I do intuitive healing. So it's a very popular time to get intuitive healing sessions. So if you want to get in before the end of the year, definitely schedule. Okay, moving on. So we are talking about this full moon, and it's happening at 0 degrees of Cancer. This is the second full moon that's going to be at 0 degrees. We have 5 total, and then the one after that will be at 29 degrees. Now this is a super powerful time, and whenever we're at those critical degrees of 0 or 29, it's a very powerful time. And then also I want to say that this one is a cardinal 0 degrees. And now, what are the cardinal signs? So cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And so anytime that we have a full moon at 0 degrees of a cardinal sign, it's a very initiating energy, and it's a very powerful for collective energies as well. So we're starting a new cycle, thankfully, and in this country, there's a lot of symbology and growth period that we're in based on the astrology, based on the chart for the United States, and based on the transits that are happening right now. So it's a pretty powerful time in the collective. However, we also want to know that this is a powerful time for our internal environment as well, because the moon rules our internal emotional security needs, okay? And the moon, we're having a full moon, and it's in Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. Okay, so our emotions are up, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people think it's a bad thing, but it might be a time for really connecting in with our intuition, connecting in with the water. It's a water full moon, so it's a very intuitive time, and a lot of insight and dreams and visions, and doing like a vision board or doing art at this time. You know, Cancer is also very archetypally connected to the artist, because the Cancer creations come straight from source. It's from that moon, from that inspiration, from that internal lens. So you really want to, I think that's a moon back there. Do you guys like that little, somebody made that in that little nook. Everybody thinks that my kids did it, but it was here when we moved in. Okay, so the moon is very sensitive, very home-based. You might want to be pulled towards staying home. And at the same time, the full moon is more of an at the new moon, we're more introspective. And at the full moon, we tend to be a little bit more social or wanting to get out. But you might just want to have people at your house. That's what I want to do. I want to like bring everybody here and not necessarily have to go out. But the full moon is typically a social time, but this is definitely more of like a roots and family and your closer connections type full moon. So it makes sense with the time of year that we're in. So this is really initiating you into a new future. And why that is because the nodes of the moon have just shifted into Cancer, Capricorn. So the North Node is in Cancer. We're getting a full moon in Cancer. Not only that, but we just had Jupiter move into Sagittarius. And the start of this cycle, this moon cycle, was with Jupiter newly in Sagittarius. So it's a very powerful time for initiating into newer energy. So it's really important to think about the future and to think about now and to think about what you've learned in this last year and where you're going, where your trajectory is. Who do you want to be in 2019? Who do you want to show up as? What do you want to work on more? And what are the steps to get you there? It's even though we have the moon in Cancer, the sun will be freshly in Capricorn. So our consciousness is wanting to be very practical, even though our emotions might not be as practical. We want to be practical. The other interesting thing is that as the sun comes into Capricorn, it's going to come over and connect with Saturn first, then Pluto, and then the South Node. And the South Node is in Capricorn. I didn't get to that point. So the North Node is in Cancer. The South Node is in Capricorn. We're getting this full moon freshly into this energy of the North and the South Node being into their the signs. So this is really getting us familiar and getting our kind of creative juices flowing in terms of what we're going to work on during this time where the nodes are in those signs, okay? Now, while I'm saying that, it could be really helpful for you to go back and watch my video on the nodes of the moon moving into Cancer, Capricorn, because I do a house by house. Granted, you have to take into account, depending on what astrology you practice or what astrology you believe in, that it might straddle two houses. So when we're having a full moon in 0 degrees of Cancer, you want to look to where 0 degrees of Cancer is in your chart, okay? And then when the nodes of the moon are in, right now they're in like 26 degrees, you're going to want to look at where that is. And that might be 2 different houses. It might be the same house, but that's where you're being asked to focus your attention, okay? So if you're going to want to look at the emotional needs and as the moon, and so looking at what house 0 degrees of Cancer is in for you, and then also your consciousness, your conscious awareness being in the Capricorn house, so you're going to want to look at where that is, okay? So this is a really powerful time. I definitely recommend working with me, and you can find all my information on my website at abigailbarella.com. This is Abigail Barella. Hi. I don't think I introduced myself, and I'm with Sparkle and Shine Guidance, and I hope that you'll subscribe and follow my channel. And I want to make sure that I covered everything on my notes. So basically, it's just a really important time to look back and to look forward and to integrate. And at the same time, there's also some influences from, as I talked about, Mars being in Pisces. We also have Neptune in Pisces, and they are connected to Mercury and Jupiter, which are going to be conjunct, which means right next to each other at this full moon. So think about this. Mercury and Jupiter in Sagittarius, where we just had the new moon 2 weeks ago, they're conjunct each other, and they are squaring Neptune in Pisces, and Mars is also involved. And so with this energy, you just want to be aware that what are Sagittarius and Pisces about, right? And they're all about the spiritual downloads. They're all about opening to divine source. They're about our deep consciousness and our connection to each other. They're both very social and spiritual and connecting at a deeper level, not the surface level, not the Gemini's only surface, but I'm just saying not at that Gemini chatty level. We're talking about deep connection. So it's very likely that issues or dynamics will be worked out at this time with people that you connect to deeply. So your soul tribe, your soul connections. If you believe in twin flames, your twin flame connection, like all of those things are going to be really up and front and center. Also your connections to family, because family is likely your soul family as well. So you want to just be aware of this and this opportunity. I'm kind of getting the chills. This opportunity to connect in deeper and to see your spiritual connection, because ultimately all of our soul connections remind us of that original connection to spirit, to source, and that how we had to separate from that to come down and be an earth mammalian, earth dweller, you know? And so these people reflect spirit back to us and offer us this opportunity to see where we are disconnecting from spirit. And so at this time, it's really it's just like such a juicy time for you to connect in with these people that remind you of that, but also to remember your ultimate connection to spirit, to source. And if you want to be reminded of that even more and of your soul purpose and really get clarity for 2019, please reach out to work with me. I am going to pull, I don't usually do this, but I'm like, I love these cards, and I wanted to pull card or two for the full moon in Cancer so that you guys have a little bit more insight into what might be coming up. Oh, so Two of Vessels, attraction. So if we think about I love this card. Look at the two cups being filled and the connection. They're connecting through their hands, the heart in the center, and then the cups being filled. And this is really a possibility for you to look at where that give and receiving energy and how we can be reciprocating equally. Really looking at your connections and where maybe you've been undergiving or overgiving or not able to receive or not able to really see what the connection is offering you. So I did just talk about soul connections and twin flame. And if anything, I think this is like the twin flame card. But it's also talking about attraction, which is, you know, personally where you want to, law of attraction, where you want to attract in a new vibe, where you want to attract in a new job, a new connection to your home, maybe a new home, the land around you, you know, all of these things that are very Cancer. This is a time for you to be very aware of how you're attracting things, but also how you're repelling things and how your lack of ability to receive might be affecting what you're able to manifest. And one more card. I love this card. This is Ren. And Ren speaks of just these little joys, these little opportunities to connect in with your joy and really appreciate and give thanks for the small things. And this is, as you guys know, like gratitude, you know, just attracts more to be grateful for. So I think it's really reminding us to take those arrows of what we want and really infuse them with gratitude for what we already have and what we got in 2018. You guys, I love you all. I'm so thankful that you follow my channel and that you're here with me today. And if you'd like to comment below, I'd love to hear what you think of this video and any insight into which house this full moon's happening for you. I want to hear about it. Okay, have a great day. Bye.